First off, people call themselves YouTubers. They're like, "Oh, I'm a YouTuber." It was like, that's somebody else's brand. You were just naming yourself off of somebody else's
Yeah,
brand. Like, why would you do that? It's like if you worked at McDonald's, you're like, "I'm a McDonald'ser." It's like,
yeah.
don't call yourself a YouTuber. That's a brand you don't control. I don't know why people call themselves YouTubers, first off.
Welcome to the Pixel Retentive Podcast, where we unpack the messy, beautiful intersection of creativity and business with the artists, marketers, and founders shaping our culture. Hey friends, I'm Carl, founder of Epic Made, and I'm the host of the Pixel Retentive Podcast, where we share our thoughts on creativity, art, and business. Past guests include Mario Kroll, 30-year game and entertainment industry veteran and founder of Uber Strategist; Debbie Millman, designer, author, and host of The Design Matters, one of the world's longest running podcasts about design and creative culture; and Tim Thompson, founding member of Imaginary Forces and founder of RevThink, a leading voice for creative entrepreneurs building sustainable, scalable studios. I am forever grateful for the supporters of this podcast, and we are always open to more sponsors that align with our creativity. That said, Pixel Retentive is brought to you by the creative gurus at Epic Made. Epic Made is a creative studio that produces entertainment quality animation and illustration for brands that want to stand out in gaming, entertainment, and pop culture. We help companies tell stories that resonate with imaginative audiences and turn viewers into fandom. Whether your brand needs creative strategy, an exciting trailer, an animated series, or some engaging motion graphics, we got you covered. Visit epicmade.net and let's collaborate on your next creative campaign. All right. So with us today, we have Chris Zukowski. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, really excited to have you, man. I really can't wait to get into the weeds of this fun conversation we're going to have. So Chris is a game marketing researcher and strategist who publishes the weekly blog How to Market a Game. He's helped games as a service companies, indie publishers, and small to single person teams understand their audience and communicate with them in a more personal way. He specializes in optimizing your marketing with the Steam algorithm, creating fantastic Steam pages that sell themselves, and setting up email marketing campaigns that your fans will actually look forward to. That's really powerful, Chris, and things that indie game developers, I guess all game developers need in this phase. So for sure, I love gaming. I'm sure there's a massive science to how things get successful on Steam. I mean, I think the last thing I saw was like 20,000 games or something to launch this year on Steam, estimated, which that is a noisy market for sure. So
Yes, it is.
cool. So before we get into talking some more, I definitely would love the audience to get to know you a little bit better. So how long have you been in the industry, and what is your project you're most proud of so far?
Yeah, so I think it's kind of hard because I started while I was still working a corporate job, and I just kind of put out my own games by myself, just self-publish them as the indie way, kind of punk rock as they say.
Yep.
And what I did was, I'd say it was like 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. I published my first game on Xbox. And then I would just kind of roll through it, did a little mobile game, put out a couple of my own. And then I went over to Steam and really fell in love with the Steam platform. I think it's the best.
Yeah.
And that was about 2016, 2017 was when I did that. And as I evolved there, I started consulting for other people. So I went full time at this 2019. So about 7 years full time, which is scary for me to say that. I can't believe how fast it went. But I've been sprinkled in with games and game development for probably like 15 years. So it's been quite a while, quite a trip.
Very cool, man. So like what really made you want to take that leap into like full-time creator working for yourself?
Because I was tired of meetings. I don't know. I by the end of my career, I ended up being a manager, director, and I had a bunch of, folks working for me, and I was always working on, making sure everybody had something to do, and the politics of who gets the funding for what department and stuff. And I just spent all my days in meetings. It was like one meeting to the other. I'd like eat on the phone, it was just like I would just like I'd mute my screen, turn on my screen and like eat something as fast as I could, just like jam food in my
I
mouth.
do
And
that
then I
every
was just like,
day.
what am I doing? What am I doing? And so I just quit. And before anybody else says they want to quit their job, I had stuff lined up because I'd already been writing my blog, because blogging is cool, kids. Blogging's still cool.
People still
I've
read.
been writing a blog nights and weekends for a long time. And so through that, I kind of got a name for myself even before I quit my job. And a couple people were like, "Can I hire you?" And that's when I was like, you know what? If somebody's willing to hire me and I'm not doing this full time, I'm gonna just take the leap. I know I can scale this later. And so that's what really pushed me out the door. Was I got a couple contracts to consult for people. I was like, I think I can do this full time. So I kind of just took a leap from that point.
I love it. So then, people started hiring you to consult, and you obviously knew what you were talking about. I'm sure you had some success. And from there, you and I were talking, and it sounded like you got back into that space where you felt like you were taking too many meetings and saying the same thing over and over again. And then I think you did something unique there. That I don't think a lot of people are like, oh, this is great, like let me just do lots of consulting, but like that wasn't fulfilling to you because you felt like you were like living Groundhog Day, more or less, right? So I'd love to unpack that a little more. So
Yeah. So what happened was as my consulting grew and word of mouth got out there, I just started taking on more and more clients. And I was back in the old thing where it was like meetings back to back, and I was eating on screen while I had to like dim the screen, chew my food, all that kind of business. And I was back into it. And I
right.
was like, what? I quit. So I didn't have to do this. And a lot of the consulting is the exact same question over and over and over again. And so I just started selling my knowledge on my own website, just in various forms, both through conferences. I just ran my own conferences. I would also sell my course. I made a course of everything that I learned up to this point. I just bundled in a course, like a bunch of videos that people can download. And it's really like everything I know about how to market a game in Steam, I put into this course. And so between the two of those, I don't really take on clients anymore. So I've shifted my business to be basically, I kind of like, they always say fractional CEOs. I'm like a fractional marketing researcher. So if anybody wants to understand the marketplace of Steam, they come to me, and I have a whole suite of things that you can do to kind of learn this, but I put everything I know into that stuff. So that's how I got away from the daily grind. I now don't have clients. My client is the entire internet. Anybody who comes to my website, howtomarketagame.com, is basically my client. And so it's very fulfilling in that way, in that I don't have to be on meetings all the time.
I love that. So it's really packaging all of your knowledge into a space, which I guess you had all the research of like, hey, I've heard these questions 100 times, so like this is a thing that needs to be in the course. And then I guess it was just a matter of kind of processing through all that, making sure that like, all the frequently asked questions are in there, and then taking them through there. And now you have something that's very scalable that doesn't require you to be there and talk people through it. And as everybody that's done any level of consulting knows, like you spend all this time and energy and effort, and then sometimes people don't even take your advice, and that can be really frustrating.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So you and I were talking about that, and it's like, it's exhausting, right? You dump your heart and soul into this, and then like they don't even read it. And it's like, okay, so that has to be exhausting, and just another layer of like stepping into a different direction there. So I love this idea of owning and monetizing your intellectual property, whatever that is, right? And you and I had spoken before about there's something powerful about like everyone coming to your website to buy your thing. And you have some strong beliefs about creators doing things on other platforms. I'd love to pry into some of that as well.
Yeah, I don't do social media. So here's the thing, folks. Like, I don't do social media. I do a little bit of YouTube, and we'll get into that. But I think the world has gone bonkers. All these creative people, I feel like they've been brainwashed by these social media platforms and stuff, and everybody thinks they have to be on social media. They're chasing numbers, they're doing all this stuff, and it is just poisonous, and it is counterproductive. And so I'm trying to preach, like, I'm 46, and I came up during the internet. Like when the internet really was taking off, that's when I was there. And we used to, let me tell you, everybody before social media, we'd build our websites. And it was so fun. Like it would be like Bob's website about mountains, and Bob would just write about mountains.
Yep.
Or there'd be like Cindy's cheetah page, and it was just all cheetahs, and she'd have cheetah print on the back of her page, and it was glorious. Those were golden age days, okay?
MySpace pages, everything. Yeah.
And it was awesome. And you'd have a flaming skull that was spinning. It was like an animated gif of a flaming skull. Beautiful, yes. Wonderful. And somehow social media came in and it got between developers and people and creative like Cindy and her cheetah page, and they bumped it off. And now Cindy thinks she has to be a cheetah influencer and like make Instagram posts about cheetahs. And I'm like, Cindy, make your own website again, get back to it. So that's my general thing is I think creatives have just gotten away from making their own thing, and they think they're chasing metrics on Instagram, YouTube, all this stuff. And it just, folks, you're chasing something that's never going to reach. Build your own site, build it. Like you can do it. I make howtomarketagame.com. I have a mailing list if you want to join it. Well, don't join it unless you're going to make games and stuff. Like, come on. If you're not going to make games, don't join my thing. But howtomarketagame.com/free. I mean, you can join it, but you're not going to get anything out of it. Howtomarketagame.com/free is my site, and you join my mailing list. And then like right now I'm running my own conference. So you come to progamemarketing.com, and I'm running a conference right now where I interview great people, and it doesn't go up on YouTube. I don't even tweet about it. It just comes from my mailing list. Everybody who's on my mailing list, I say, hey, doing a conference, who wants in? And they sign up for the conference, and there's nobody between me and my audience. It's just right there. And I see so many people spend way too much time on YouTube. They spend way too much posting to Instagram and all these cool things like Facebook and stuff. And it's just not worth it, folks. And I feel like we've lost an entire generation of creatives to chasing these stupid platforms when it's really just build your own cheetah page, everybody. Come on.
Yeah, and it's easier than it's ever been to build your own website. There's so many platforms, and I'm not even talking about like stuff like Lovable, like AI sites that will just build it out for you. Like Wix and Squarespace are so easy to use. They literally made me get out of the web business because it was just like, I don't like, this doesn't even make sense to charge people to do it anymore. Although people still do, and I have since had some different thoughts about that. But I like doing WordPress sites just got to be a point where it was nuts. But I say all that to say, like, when you're in control of all the things, like there's a lot more strength and reliability there, right? You're putting all your time, energy, and effort producing all this content for social media because that's where the attention is. That's where the most noise is too. That's where it's the hardest to break through. So if you follow some basic SEO principles and you do some word of mouth marketing and you're actually serving a very specific niche, you're probably going to have less heartache building your own site and just driving people there, having your own newsletter, having your own blog, and people come and see just your stuff because they showed up to see just your stuff, So there's something powerful there. And the other side of that is like, and this just happened to me recently. I was sharing with you. Someone hacked my Facebook account. Coincidentally, after I was a part of a class action lawsuit, I got $50 that sued Facebook. So, there's some conspiracy theory there on my end. But at the end of the day, they were able to get it. I had a 2FA. I did all the things, right? Secure password, 2FA on my phone, boom, boom, boom. They did some sort of brute force, verify your ID, check it 12 times in 30 minutes. And then they ended up getting in. Long story short, they banned my Facebook account. They had access to all my other pages. And then they banned my Instagram account, all my business Instagram pages, and my Oculus Quest account, where I can't even play any of my games. And I did nothing wrong, and there's no customer support. And if I was reliant on those platforms to generate any revenue for me, and I'd been building myself up as a content creator for all the things I do, but now I just I start from zero. I have to literally make new pages because there's no way to even contact them without me getting an attorney or doing. It's insane, and that doesn't happen when you own your website, you own your newsletter, your mailing list. So it is just actually sage advice, people. I'm here for it. So I'm glad to say that.
It's wonderful. Now you will get hacked sometimes. My website was hacked one time, but I just rolled it back. Make sure you set up backups and stuff. But the main thing is, the big problem that you'll find is you are not in control of the money. So YouTube, if you are trying to become a YouTube influencer and get AdSense and stuff, Google can just change the algorithm. They change it like every year. They're like, no, we're not going to give you as much for ads. And then you're like, well, what am I going to do? There's nothing you can do. But when you run your own site and you sell your products from yourself, from your own site, you keep it all, and you're not subject to the whims of somebody else. And that is the most critical thing. So, and it's possible. People, please, every time I talk about it, people always, that's not possible. Nobody can make money on the internet. Like blogs aren't cool anymore. They're right. They're not cool. And that's the best thing, because people who are money diggers and, just trying to get the quick buck, they're always on the fastest thing, whatever's the new thing. Blogging is not cool. It's not new. And that means it's very, very good.
Yeah. Well, the people that show up are there intentionally, and they want that type of content. So, there's not a quick fix to building a community, or like it's just like, hey, if I just do this thing, I'm going to make a bunch of money. And there isn't on social media either, right? Like you see people buying followers and doing all that, and like it's all vanity metrics. It's not doing anything. Where you see somebody with 300,000 followers, they got 10 likes and no comments on all their posts. Like it's all bullshit vanity metrics, So 100%.
Yeah, and this is not get rich quick at all. I mean, I told you all the years that I've been doing this. Like I started in 2010, and then I kind of ground it up, and then eventually I quit my job in 2019, and I really wasn't like back to a full-time income until like a couple of years after that. So this is get rich slow, and it's not even rich.
Yeah.
But if you want like a comfortable lifestyle, middle class American lifestyle, you can do it. It just takes a little while, and it just takes dedication. There's no like scummy, like one weird trick. It's just like, I am super, super obsessed with figuring out how to sell your game on Steam. And people know me for being obsessed about this stuff. And so it's real. Like everything I say is real, and it's really investigated. And so it's not a scam or like I'm trying to one weird trick. It is just being very dedicated to a very dedicated audience. And that's the secret. But the secret is just, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. A lot of work, consistency, and just keep putting yourself out there. And I think you and I were talking about some other ideas here. And it's like, I was thinking about, we produced some comics, we're writing stories, Epic Mates doing things like that. And, I was like, yeah, well, we could just make some comics, put them on our site and sell them for $1. And he was like, but don't sell them for $1. Like, sell them for $20, like, or $50 or whatever, because the people that want that stuff are happy to support you. And then the flip side of that is like, how long, like, let's say like that seems like a lot, or one person or 5 people buying your comic at 10, 20, $30, whatever that is. Like, how long does it take you to make that on ad share on, Webtoons or YouTube? It's a lot. And you have to get enormous audiences before you actually start making money. So like even on the ROI side, and like it's way better to have a core following that's dedicated to throw some cash at you because they love what you're doing, because it's exactly what they want, than it is to try to like your YouTube, the big tech platforms are making the lion's share of the money from all your hardware and the other way.
Yeah.
So
and this is the thing this is why I'm on this adventure to yell at people to stop posting on YouTube, because I see stuff on YouTube. First off, people call themselves YouTubers. They're like, oh, I'm a YouTuber. It was like, that's somebody else's brand. You were just naming yourself off of somebody else's brand. Like, why would you do that? It's like if you worked at McDonald's, you're like, I'm a McDonald'ser. Like, don't call yourself a YouTuber. That's a brand you don't control. I don't know why people call themselves YouTubers, first off. Second off, the saddest thing you can do is Google my first YouTube paycheck. That's a common thing. And people make these videos. Have you ever watched those YouTube videos? My first YouTube paycheck.
No.
So when people get monetized, they always record this video of like, my first YouTube paycheck. And they're so hopeful and their eyes are so big. And it is so sad. Their first YouTube paycheck is like $50 or something.
Oh, easily.
And they're so happy. And they're like, I am going to make another 8-hour video, edit it for another 30 hours. I bet I could bump this up to $60 a month by the end of the year. And I'm like, oh, dear Lord, that is so sad. And when I see that stuff, it makes me want to scream, because that amount of work should be going towards something you own. You own it. Like those people that are making those $60 a month, lifestyle videos, if you just sold it on your own website, like you make beautiful, wonderful, informative videos and you put them on your own website and you just charge real dollars, not like fake internet ad shares, cents, dollars, real money, people will pay for it. And they really will. And the whole creator economy has become infantilized. Like they just don't realize they become this learned helplessness, as they say. They're like, you can't just sell stuff on the internet. You can just sell it for real money, folks. Please, not tips. Because this is the other mistake a lot of people make is they'll say, oh, help me out, buy me a coffee on Patreon or something. Like, no, charge for your work. A tip is nothing. A tip is a little spice on the top. Charge for your work, not a Patreon tip jar. Patreon you don't own. You also don't own Patreon. Just charge direct money from your audience, real amounts, not $1, $5, not t-shirts, not merch. Sell the information direct. And that's what I'm trying to empower creators to do, that and throw away YouTube. Stop spending so much time making YouTube videos because they pay nothing. Nothing. So please, I know it's a rant, but I'm here for you creatives. Charge money. That's all I'm asking for.
I love this. And it's like these, even the huge influencers on YouTube, like if you break down their network, they're making money through brand recognition. They're making money through sponsorship deals. And they're like, yes, okay, like Mr. Beast probably makes, a sizable revenue off of his channels through AdSense, but like the millions that he makes is not from YouTube. Like YouTube's not cutting in checks.
He sells like a candy bar. He sells a candy bar. Like that's the thing. It's like, no, you've got to sell something, folks. And I don't know why they follow the visible side and they don't understand the underside. But I'm going to say it's the other side. Underside sounds bad. The top line, the heaven, the clouds, the sky. You got to sell that stuff. And then YouTube is this bottom layer that I don't know. People chase the bottom layer. It's like, just charge money for your stuff.
And look, it's not to say that you shouldn't have any social media. They should be things that
I'm going to disagree. I don't think you should do any social media. No, but, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
But look, that's where the eyeballs are for the most part. And people have to find out about you in some fashion, but don't give away everything there. You can have some behind the scenes, you can do some little teaser things, you can do some exciting things, but the real substantive stuff, you want to be driving them to your channels so that they can monetize there and whatever way works for that community. And Chris, I feel like you're building a second course here. Like you're coming up. There's a 2.0 here. I
don't have time for this. So no, I mean, but here's my advice is I do have a YouTube channel. Like I put it on there, but I always, I want to scream every time somebody says, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like and subscribe. Your YouTube channel is like sand on the ocean just before a wave comes. It's going to pull that sand. It could go away. You drive people to your mailing list because you own it. So the end of every YouTube video, you should see, get off of YouTube, go to my website, sign up for my newsletter like this right there. And so I always tell people, do not subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can watch my YouTube channels. Just search Chris Zukowski YouTube. You'll find it. Every video I say, get off of YouTube. Stop watching this. Go to howtomarketagame.com.
I love it.
Do not want subscribers because every time somebody subscribes to my YouTube channel, they think I've done my job. I subscribe to Chris's channel. I don't want that. I want mailing list subscribers because mailing list subscribers I own. I can control. I can talk to the people directly. Get Google out of this relationship. It's like this third wheel that comes between me and my audience. Out of here, YouTube. Out of here, Google. Please, folks, just wake up. It's really bad. It's really bad if you put too much stuff on YouTube. So just put some flavor on YouTube, just like to get your personality out and your vibes. And then anything worthwhile that you spent 8 hours editing and writing a script and filming and spending money on, put that on your website and charge money for it. Yeah. Just direct money. It's so much better. It's a better, healthier relationship.
Love that. And everyone that's watching this on YouTube, just so you know, this is also on my website.
He can do the call to action. Let him do the call to action. I won't yell at him over it.
Oh, no. It's totally
do you have a mailing list? We
do. Go to epicmade.net.
Okay, join his mailing list. I'll say it for you. Yeah, subscribe to his mailing list, not his YouTube channel.
There we go.
Can I do that for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to start today.
Starting today.
America and the world, we're going to start today getting people off of YouTube. Everybody stop subscribing to stuff on YouTube.
I love it. So look, what are some of the tools? So we have some people listening, I'm sure, that are like inspired now, right? I'm inspired. What? So if I've got I've got a brand, I want to launch, I want to do the thing. What are like? What's the step one? Like, where do I build the website? The easiest thing to do, is that a Squarespace, or is it Wix, or is it, where'd you head out on that?
Okay, here's the most important thing. When I say own your audience, now this is hard for people to understand. If you're too young, and I'd say like if your conscious internet brain is post 2005. 2005 was when I think the internet kind of ruined itself,
Sure.
and all these companies came between users and what they make. That's the Web 2.0 era.
Yep.
If you're
Web
old enough.
two. I'm
Okay,
I'm
so
in. I'm in it.
okay, so the way we did it, so this is hard to understand if you're after 2005. There's different types of companies. Okay, the companies where you are borrowing their platform are bad. Okay, now we're still going to have to rely on companies. Okay, now with the first thing you need to do is you need to make a website. Now you can't like host a server in your room that you run your own server. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're using hosting companies, and they stand back. They are not in between you and your audience. You're just renting an office space
Yeah.
from them.
It's digital hard drive space. Yeah.
Digital hard drive space. So this is like I use Bluehost. I'm not like endorsing them or anything. That's just who I use. I don't love them. I'm not afraid to say I don't love them.
Used them before.
I'm kind of in there, so I'm like, okay, I'll stay. But there's like GoDaddy and all these hosting platforms. The most important thing, folks, I see a lot of people like, oh, I'll start a Medium site. No. You do not own Medium, because when you go to a Medium site, it's like, let's say chrissblog.medium.com. You see that very subtle thing? That is Medium, this weird company getting between you and your audience.
Yep.
You must own your audience. So it must be like your domain. And that's the key thing, because you own a domain. My brand owns a domain.
Yep.
And so if Bluehost gets really bad, they jack their rates up, their service quality goes down, I can just take my domain and I move it to another host, and my audience has zero idea. Yep. They don't know that I changed hosts. That's what's critical. That's what you have to understand, the difference. Because anytime I'm like, oh yeah, I use Bluehost, and they go, Chris, you said not to rely on companies. It's like, that's because that company is just the plumbing. It's the underlayer. None of my audience knows that. So when I move my host to something else, I've just moved chriszukowski.com somewhere else. Okay, that's the key thing you have to understand. So what I tell people is always look at the URL. Does it say your name, your site, and no other like chris.youtube.com? Because that's what happens, right? It's like youtube.com/Chris. You do not own that. YouTube owns that. Right. So that's the first step, is get out of these platforms. So you have to have your site hosted by you, not like medium.com, not Substack. Own it.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. Just chat to one of those AIs and say like, hey, this is my budget. This is what I want. This is the size. I don't know. It changes every day which company is good. So don't trust me on the companies. It changes every day. Okay. Mm-hmm. The next step is you need to get a mailing list, because that is your communication channel. And I know you're going to say that sounds so old. Everybody uses email, because like your payments for like your water bill come from your email. Your doctor emails you. All this stuff is through email. When you become an adult, you get an email address, and everybody holds on to their email address all the time. It's a very long relationship with an email address. Yeah. And so when you own their email address, you have a direct line. Like I can just look at my email list and directly email somebody and like, hey, it's Chris, you join my mail list. Hey, that's a one connection. Now, again, just like your hosting platform, there are services that provide email management. You are going to have to pay for a company. I use kit.com, but it doesn't matter. And what's happened is I used to use MailChimp. My audience has no idea I switched from MailChimp to Kit. Now, I don't endorse either company. It doesn't matter. There's so many companies. It's basically a utility. It's like water or electricity. It doesn't matter who it is. Don't even ask that. Just ask AI. These are my things. This is what I want. What's my best choices? It'll follow that. And what you do is you can move it. And I did. MailChimp raised their rates and hurt their service. So I just said, mailing list, you are now hosted by Kit. And my audience had zero idea I moved. And that's the key thing that you have to understand. Like if I were to move to like YouTube, from YouTube to start posting on Instagram or something, I decided, I'm going to be on Instagram. My audience would have to change their behavior. That's the whole thing. Because if you're like, I'm not on posting on YouTube, millions of people who follow you on YouTube have to make that choice. Like, okay, well, I guess I'll register for an Instagram account and follow this guy. But when I move mailing list or move my website, they don't change at all. My audience doesn't move at all. They're like, I just go to chriszukowski.com or howtomarketagame.com and I get the same content. It still comes in. That sounds so subtle, everybody, but that is the difference between owning your audience and not, and making sure that those companies don't weasel their way in there. And it's so subtle. People don't understand it if you were born or came to consciousness after 2005. But that is the difference between owning your audience and being like a sharecropper for YouTube or something. Yeah. Okay. That's the difference.
Us folks that are older than Google, my kid looks at me like we're dinosaurs when we tell them that. No, but you're right. So own your domain name, own your list, right? And then your audience never has to change behaviors no matter what happens. Your site can get hacked and go down, like whatever it is. You can always host a new site somewhere else and point your domain name there. And you can always email them to that same email address so they can still see your emails come in. So that's huge. So what do you do to grow your email list? Like, what have been some successful things that you've done for that?
It's really just consistency. So I write a blog every week, every Monday or Wednesday. If it's a bigger blog, it comes out Monday or Wednesday. It's just that habit. And then I email my list and I email that list. And for the most part, that is it. Now,
so do they share with people or like,
so good, people will point it they'll tell their friends. They're like, you got to join this guy's list. Like I get that all the time. Like when you join my mailing list, my system automatically emails you back and says, thanks for joining my list. Where'd you hear from me? Well, how'd you find me? And I'd say like good half of people are like, oh yeah, my friend, I just got this job. My boss said I had to join your list so that I could understand how to market a game. And that's it. That's like half of my audience is just word of mouth. And this is why it just grows slowly.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like you on your show, like I show up on these interview shows. They're like, Chris, I heard you have this greatest blog about game marketing. And I'm like, I do have the greatest blog about game marketing. I'll be on your show. So there's some of that. It's a little bit smaller, but those did pretty well because there is a YouTube collection of people who talk about game dev, and I'll show up on their show and I'll do the song and dance, and I'll be like, hey, and then a lot of people after that were like, hey, I heard about you when you showed up on this YouTube show. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm on YouTube. So I did join YouTube because a lot of my traffic came from there. And I'm like, well, I'm giving that traffic away. I want to own that traffic. So what I do is, and people are like, well, Chris, you said not to be on YouTube. I am. But if you watch any of my YouTube videos that are put out by me, I am obnoxious about it. I honestly am. I'm like, do not spend any more time on here. At the end of this video, I want you to go to my website and sign up. Like, I do not enjoy the ability to be on YouTube. Like, I grit my teeth for every second I'm on YouTube to say, okay, watch this video, but then get off of here, go. And then I just tell people to get on the YouTube, get off of the YouTube and get onto my mailing list. And that is the main thing you need to do. And so like for all of the other thing that I do, and here's the thing, it's called a lead magnet. On your mailing list, you have to give away something awesome for free. And I can't answer what that is. For me, I give a book. I have a book that I wrote, a short book, it's a novella about how to market a game, just basic facts. That's really helpful, like super helpful. Like I could charge money for this. But then what I do is I do it. So when I say, hey, from this YouTube video, go to howtomarketagame.com/free and you get my free book. Then people are like, oh, like what do you get from YouTube? You get a little bell that annoys you. You get nothing. But when you join my mailing list, you get a book. Which is better? A bell that annoys you and says, somebody uploaded a video, or a book. That's how you get that difference. And then
that's an ebook, right? Physically mailing.
It's an ebook. It's just a PDF, a little PDF. Perfect. And from that, that's it. And then just consistently posting. I don't tweet anymore. I stopped tweeting because one time I tweeted like some a take I had on like some marketing moves that were being made, and then I just like got into like some tier of visibility, and people just started yelling at me and telling me I was wrong. I was like, I don't need this. And so ever since then, I don't tweet anymore. I've never posted on Instagram. I just post on YouTube, and then I do interviews like you, and then I just post my monthly blog. And when I post to YouTube, I watch those videos. I always like to watch those videos. Like I said, my first monetization on YouTube, search those videos. They are so obsessed with their numbers on YouTube. They're like, oh my God, I uploaded a video and it was a 3 video out of 10 and it was a 5 out of 10. Oh my gosh. And I'm so stressed and I felt burnt out and all this stuff. It's like, I do not care. Like once you get to that level where you don't care anymore and you're just like, it's just my mailing list. It's all I care about. How many people come onto the mailing list? How big is my mailing list? That's what I care about. That's my metric. That YouTube stuff, like, did the algorithm pick me up? Did I get featured in the algorithm? And all?
It's exhausting.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It's
You don't
exhausting.
need to do that. The metric to stress about is how many mailing list subscribers do you have? All that YouTube garbage, it's just noise to make you fall more in love with YouTube, which is they've got you when you're obsessing with that. That's YouTube, like that means they're in your brain. I don't want YouTube in my brain. Okay,
Yeah.
get out of here, YouTube. I don't care about your numbers.
I love it.
So I care about my numbers, which are mailing list subscribers.
Let's talk about that,
folks. Get out.
What numbers, like, did you start to realize, like, what's a critical mass number for where you were at? We're like, hey, I'm actually getting good ROI. Like, is that like 1,000 subscribers? Is that 50,000? Like, I'm curious. And
okay,
if that's a personal number.
Have you heard the 1,000 true fans thing?
Yes,
Do you know
the 1,000 raving fans or whatever? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep. It's a Kevin Kelly video. When it highlights my career, we asked about who awesome people. Kevin Kelly, I like that guy. He's like an old internet man. He's like an old internet boomer guy. I guess that's my hero. You said, who's your hero? I actually went on a show. You can look at Kevin Kelly, Chris Zukowski. Honor of my life. I was in an interview with Kevin Kelly because it was like, this is the guy. People don't remember it's Kevin Kelly who wrote the 1,000 True Fans. And the idea is, here's the rough idea. If you have 1,000 people and you charge real money, like if you put out $100 worth of stuff every year, like content, like you said, hey, what if we had a comic and we charge $20? Well, if you put out 5 comics a year, I know that's a lot, but the key number is 100. If you have 1,000 people and you charge for $100 worth of stuff, you do the math, that's $100,000 a year. That was Kevin Kelly's metric for like middle class American income. Now, if you're around the world, your number is different, but just think of that. 1,000 people who are willing to spend $100 a year on me, that's a full-time living. And kind of the metric, these are general metrics. Your mailing list will convert at about 2%. And I know it sounds really bad. That's actually really good. So if you have 1,000, so basically, I hate to do math on the line.
All right.
I think it's like, if you do 1,000 people on your mailing list, what is that? 2% of 1,000 is what, 200? Is that 200 or?
Yeah.
So that if you have 1,000 people, 200 times $100, so that's $20,000 a year. You just need 1,000 people. So that's why it's not. A lot of people think it's 1,000 fans on your mailing list. No, it's like 2 to 3% on your mailing list that will actually buy from you. That's typically the number. But it's a ridiculously small thing. Like I was able to have, once my mailing list got to about 10,000 people size wise, I was then comfortable. Then I could be like, yes, I can do this full time. And I don't necessarily put out $100 worth of content every year because my mailing list grows. It's a little bit different, but my mailing list grows and there are new people who come in and then they buy my course or the conference that I did this year. And so not everybody does it at $100 per year. Some people buy a bigger ticket item. I have a course for $400 and they'll buy that. And that's essentially 4 years. They bought 4 years with me, if we think about it. So the math gets a little squirrely, but just generally think your mailing list will convert at 2%. And then it depends on how much you sell and what's good in selling from your stuff. So that's what I would tell people. If you're going to do this the healthy, organic way, not this YouTube garbage, is plan on this. Build your mailing list up, imagine 2%, and make $100 worth of stuff that you sell on your website, not on Patreon, because Patreon takes a cut of that. That's a big thing. Patreon takes a cut. Everybody takes a cut. And then that $100 is yours to sell. And then you can kind of figure out how big your audience needs to be. But I'll tell you what, my mailing list is a lot bigger than my YouTube channel, but I see people with thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands on their YouTube channel, and I earn more than they do because I have a mailing list. YouTube is like garbage, the numbers, how bad they are. But a mailing list is very dedicated audience. They want to hear from you. They've opted in. And so you don't need a big YouTube following. My following, I think, I don't know. I'm never sure. I think it's like 15,000 YouTube subscribers. But when I went, I really wanted to see how big I could grow just for the fun kicks of it. But even when I had no YouTube videos, I was making a full-time living, no problem, because I had a mailing list, not the YouTube channel. So social media is a fake illusionary number that big companies just want to get in your brain and make you think you're cool because you have a big number. It's not. It's the mailing list.
Makes sense. So what's the future right now looking like for how to market a game? Is there anything cool, anything creative you're planning on doing? Like, are you on a have you built the thing and it's just kind of flowing now, or yeah?
Yeah, I like. I'm now to the point where it's not like the first, I'd say 3 years, it was kind of stressful. Once I quit my job full time, it was stressful because I was like, I hadn't figured out the economics of it yet. And I didn't figure out what works. And then once you kind of reach that thing, you're like, okay, this is sustainable now. I'm sustainable. Now I can think of the next creative things. I mean, I'm just doing all kinds of stuff. Like I'm trying to get into little tools. Like I like the little things people can like type in. Like I just released a tool where people can type in their numbers that they got in like their metrics that they got on Steam. And then
Yeah.
it gives a little report card like, oh, this is high, this is low, you're doing good here, that. Just fun things. I'd like to, I ask, I don't know if you've done a comic. I've always wanted to make a comic, like, but an educational comic, like a
Oh
comic
yeah.
that teaches you about marketing and stuff. But at that point, that crazy stuff, I'm now comfortable where I can do that because I've got the baseline satisfied and I'm not so worried about like, can I actually make this work? And like I have to go back to get a real job. So now I can kind of do the sillier things, and that's where I am now. It's just like silly side projects that I want to do.
So that is amazing. And I've always had this strong belief that once you're out of, it's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like you have to feel like you have the your safety and security and food, water, shelter, all the things. And then when you like you're good, it's like, oh, that's when like life starts to go, what? Now I can just do some creative shit, right? Like creativity doesn't show up when you're like, I'm starving, I don't know where I'm gonna get my next paycheck, and I might die, right? Like you're not worried about like how you can make something fun. But once you get there, and that's when like the real growth and explosion of things come out, where people are like, oh my God, that's remarkable, I need that in my life. I've never seen anything like this. And like, so I love that you're reaching that echelon of things with this, which is exciting. Yeah, dude, the comic idea sounds super cool. I can totally imagine like some sort of like superhero kind of fantasy themed comic that's like teaching you how to slay the dragons of like failed marketing, and like how to like overcome the beast of like bad ad spend or bad ideas, or like all the ways it goes into the different things. That can be really really fun. I love that idea.
Yeah, I'm looking at my bookshelf. I don't know if it's within arm's reach. I was inspired. There's this book called, I think it's like How They Sold You Your Childhood. Let's see if I don't have it within arm's reach. I put it
Okay.
somewhere. Anyway, it's this book about how He-Man was made, but it's a comic book about how they made He-Man, and it's really neat. And I just man, I don't have it right there, but it's really cool. I think it's called like How They Sold You Your Childhood or something. I can't remember the exact name. You'll find it. Just search He-Man comic book. Well, that probably won't return. He-Man, How They Sold You Your Childhood comic book. And it's a really neat, it's a nonfiction graphic novel about this stuff. And I was like, man, that's so cool.
That
So I
is
do
cool.
that. And then I've got this other side drive, and I do this on YouTube, but I don't care. I do it thing. I just go through old magazines where these are old gaming magazines, because my basic premise, look, this is an ad for Independence Day. These are from
I
the
was gonna say,
90s.
yeah, I was gonna say that's Independence Day. I recognize the spaceship. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I saw
you
that.
see
And
Will
so
Smith
I just
does.
like to go through old
Yeah.
gaming magazines to tell people how they marketed games
Mm.
in old thing, kind of the history thing. But then look, when I go through the magazine, I always have this little card that pops up and it says, "Do not subscribe to me on YouTube." So I'll just be flipping through the magazine. I'm telling you, people, I don't do it.
I
I
love it.
tell them, go to howtomarketagame.com.
And 15,000 people have ignored that advice and probably also still gone to howmarketagame.com. But I love it. So that's part of your success, I can tell you already, and I'm sure you know this, is just your liveliness and colorfulness and excitability, and the fact that you just have this energy and enthusiasm about what you're doing. And that funny little quirk of don't subscribe, like, is like, it's memorable because nobody says that, right? Like everyone's thirsty as fuck for you to press that subscribe button and click the little bell and like and comment and like that. Yeah, so that's great. I love it. It's like counterculture, and it makes you never forget it.
The funny thing is, I'll be right back.
All right, no problem.
So I got this from, so like I was in this, I got so many subscribers. I got so many subscribers on YouTube that they started inviting you to like, oh, do you want to be a special partnered member? And I went to these lectures where they would tell us how to ask for like and subscribe and stuff. And they're like, if you get this many viewpoints, we'll send you a backpack. And I was like, I hope they don't have to approve my videos, because my videos, if they watch my videos are like, don't subscribe to YouTube. YouTube is the worst. Don't do it. And they still gave me the backpack. I still got the backpack.
They
But
don't
that's the
care.
thing. But the thing is, there were other people on this call, and I felt really bad. This is where I got really radicalized about this.
Yeah.
And they were like doing everything to get this backpack that probably costs this is probably like a $50
If
backpack,
that,
but
yeah.
it's got this patch. But they were like spending like 8 hours per video making these. I was like, that's for a backpack that costs $50. Like the brains have been fried. We have fried our brains of why we're chasing these metrics for YouTube and stuff. And it's bonkers. It's totally backwards bonkers. But the numbers make sense again if you bring it onto your own audience, and then you're not chasing stupid stuff like this. You're just like, hey, just buy my course or buy my video. Like, I made this comic book. Buy this comic book that I made. You know, and it just you feel more in tune with your audience when you do that. So please, folks, just ignore the social media stuff, for God's sakes. That's my one message I want you all to get away from this.
Yeah. Success has nothing to do with your followers and likes and all the things on your channels. It's really about monetizing and owning a niche, whatever that is, the thing that you do, and having people come to your platforms, come to your space, and get engaged with you through your newsletters and your content that nobody else can censor and control, which is hugely powerful. So I love that. We're empowering creators to take the power back. Web 2 is all about enriching giant tech companies, and we haven't talked about blockchain or Web3 or any of that, but like in this chat, but that's sort of the entire motivation of Web3, is to kind of shift that paradigm back and put sovereignty back into people's hands. But in the meantime, before there's any great adoption on that, definitely take it over with your newsletter and on your website. So, and there's some cool.
I don't even think you need all that stuff. That's the thing. It's like, I'm not a Web3 fan, not an NFT fan, because you don't even need that. Like, we have the tools today. You just get an old-fashioned website, you get an old-fashioned newsletter, and just go buy this thing. And you get it. You don't need like all this extra tech. It is so simple that people have forgotten what it is that you do. You just got to get the stuff. You just say, like, I made this, buy it, and people will. Like, they will, because it comes from the heart.
Yeah, especially as a creative person, like, people love supporting, especially now in an AI world where it's like, this was made by a human being. Like, there's so much value to that.
Exactly. And it is honest. Like, you put your heart into it, and it's there. And it's not, don't do the tipping thing or the like, support me with some merch. It's like, sell the thing that you work the hardest on. So if you're a filmmaker, don't make your film public on YouTube. Put it on your site and sell your film. I mean, you show trailers and stuff on YouTube, but it's really sell the actual thing you make and put all the work into.
I love that advice. That's absolutely powerful. All right. Well, I think that is a good end cap here. So we're at the end of the show. Is there any?
Went so fast. That was amazing.
So fast. I knew it was going to. So that is the energy that I was expecting to have on the call here. So I'm
sweating here, man. I'm sweating. Let's go. Let's go. I feel like I got to work out here.
I'm used to being the guy that's like high energy and like, and it's like, I was enjoying the show myself. So this is fantastic. So look, hey, is there anybody you'd like to shout out to the audience, whether that's someone in your career, maybe a mentor, or even a valuable resource, favorite client, a pivotal moment in your journey thus far in life?
I don't know. Okay, wait. I'll shout out my dad. I like my dad. I love my dad. So I don't know. One time I was going to buy this car, my first car. I had my first job, so I had a little extra money, and there was this car that I really liked, and I was like, Dad, I think I should buy this car. And he was like, the payment is way too much. Why don't you just buy this car? It's not as good. I mean, it's not like it's fancy, but it's like half the price. And I was like, okay. And so I bought it, and then I was like, I don't even care about this car anymore. Like, I don't care. Like, after that first moment of me on the lot ready to buy a car, I was like, actually, I don't care about this car anymore. I now have twice as much money because I spent half as much. And I was like, that's it. And that's when I learned, be boring. Like, it was boring choice. It was a boring choice for me to buy that less car. So everybody, just be boring. Like, I want us all be boring. I know it's cool to have 1 million YouTube subscribers and have like one of those gold things in the back. No, be boring. Mailing lists, websites, boring. So
Practical,
shout out to being boring.
practical. I think a practical, because you're not boring. There's literally nothing boring about. I haven't been bored for the 10 seconds in any of the conversations we've ever had. So, but what I am hearing is practical, though. That's huge, hugely important, right? Because what was that expensive car was a vanity purchase for somebody's ego, whether it was yours or somebody like so. And then when you framed it back, you're like, oh well, this just gets me from A to B. That's all I need it to be a car. Like it doesn't really matter, right? Like, and it's like, why did you build a business? Why are you creating a thing? Because you want some freedom. You want to be able to make money doing things you love and you're passionate about. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or all these people who are taking the lion's share of the profitability and value of your work. So that's
you're good at this. That was a great answer. Way to break it down. I feel like I'm in a therapy session here. You're good at your job. Way to go. Chris. That was perfect.
Oh, love it. All right. And I want to give a huge shout out to Mario Kroll of Uber Strategist, our mutual friend. Mario was also on the podcast before he introduced us. So thank you, Mario. Uber Strategist does amazing PR work in the gaming space, which is, I imagine, how you know him as well. So, we make a lot of videos and cool stuff in the gaming space. You obviously market games, so it makes sense that you and Mario are friends. So anyhow, you can check Chris out at howtomarketagame.com, which might have been mentioned at least 20 times, which is epic. proper self-promotion, but if listeners want to follow up with you directly, should they go somewhere else? ChrisZukowski.com, maybe your LinkedIn page, or what works best?
No, just howtomarketagame.com. Here's what I want people to do. The next time you upload a YouTube video, at the end of it, say, don't subscribe to me. Get off of YouTube. I'm trying to get everybody off of YouTube. So I want the call to action at the end of every video to be, get off of YouTube. Don't subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join my mailing list. That's all I want people to do. I don't want you to join any of my stuff unless you're marketing a game. But if you're not marketing a game, you're like a painter, I want your next video to say, don't follow me on YouTube. Go to my website. All right. That's what everybody agree. Let's all do that.
I agree.
Collectively. Punch the screen here. Give me a dab on the screen. That's what we're all going to do. All right, good. Everybody, let's do it. We're going to take down YouTube. We're going to take it down from the inside. We have the power. We can do this.
We can. Let's take some of that revenue back for ourselves. So, I mean, it's a powerful way to end the show. So, Chris, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm so excited to have everyone here. And if you like this, don't follow this on YouTube. Go to epicmade.net and follow subscribe to our newsletter, or you can go to colorfulcarl.com and subscribe to my newsletter there. And you can get, cool art and links to these episodes when they drop and all the other things. So, all right, everybody.
We already did it once. We did it. We started with one person. It's going to spread. Let's do it.
I love it. All right, everybody. Take it easy. Thank you, Chris.
We really hope you enjoyed the show. Please like and subscribe to join us on our next journey through the world of art and business on the Pixel Retentive Podcast.